going, everybody? I don't know. I think I'm live here, so hope y'all are doing all right out there. Sorry for the delay. I'm out here in Wyoming and trying to get my Wi-Fi to work. So yeah, this is the part two, volume two, whatever you want to call it, bending your ear series. Just going to shoot the breeze for a few minutes and yeah, pick a little bit, talk a little bit. Yeah, just rolled into to Jackson Hole, Wyoming earlier today. Had kind of a crazy travel day. They got a ton of snow here in Jackson Hole, and yeah, it's been a great travel day though. So yeah, gonna talk a bit about some gear and all kinds of stuff, and try to answer some questions from the first volume of Bending Your Ear. This is my first time going live on here, so bear with me. I'll try to answer some questions if they come in, but start off by talking about my guitar that I've got on this trip. This is my D41. It's a pretty new one, I guess probably 2022 model, but it's great. You know, it's Indian rosewood back and sides. I have no idea what the top is, but it sounds great. Got a little buzz going on. Every time I go out west, my action wants to get a little lower on the fretboard. It's so dry out here, but got a little case humidifier I'm gonna put in there and get this thing rocking. We're playing a couple shows. We're doing one in here in Jackson Hole tomorrow night that's sold out, and we're doing another one in Bozeman on Friday night that's sold out. But yeah, guess we'll just talk a little bit about some tips and stuff from the last one. I remember a lot of people were asking about pick or my pick. I usually use this Blue Chip TAD60. Another big question was if I wanted to go through my whole guitar setup at home, you know, and show all my guitars. I just recently did a Premier Guitar Rig rundown where I talk about a bunch of my guitars in depth and all that good stuff. So yeah, you should definitely check that out. But part of these videos, I'll try to show my guitar and probably play a different one every now and then so I can talk about them. But yeah, this one's really cool. It's been kind of my main guitar. I've been using these LR Baggs Anthem SL pickups with my voice print DI, and those work really well. This guitar sounds really great plugged in and acoustically. Running medium gauge strings on it, all that good stuff. But another big question from the last series was talking about, a lot of people want to talk about building speed or right hand technique. There's a lot of different, things I could talk about. I do want to say that I've got a very in-depth course over at bigmusictent.com where I talk about all this stuff in a lot of detail, but the point of these videos are just to answer some questions and try to be as helpful as I can. But yeah, so talking about right hand technique a little bit, the bluegrass thing is kind of tricky. I mean, my style of playing, I do a lot of alternate pickings, a lot of down up down strokes is kind of what that is. So it's instead of going, that's all three downstrokes, I'll play. So it's more like it's just a picking pattern that, I mean, you can see it in my right hand there, that just kind of relaxes your hand a little bit more. And sort of how I practice that, just briefly, is that I'll play a lot of just cross-picking things. So cross-picking, if you don't know, it's kind of a George Shuffler thing that, he played with the Stanley Brothers. But he would play, things like... lot of again, down, up, down strokes. But how I practice that is that a lot of times, even when I just pick up a guitar for the first time, just to kind of get my hands in sync, I'll play a lot of just cross picking things over like a C chord or a G chord. But how I start it is that I'll start from my low E string and go down to my high E string in kind of 3-note intervals. So it'll be something like. So like you're hitting 6, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. So that again. So that's how I kind of approach that. It's sort of like, I think of it as, you know, a piano player will sit down and hit a C chord or something with both hands. That's sort of my C chord with both hands. So yeah, that's a big thing for me to get my right hand worked up. Another big thing that I like to work on with my right hand is just my approach to how the tone, you know, tonally where my right hand sits. And I try to always make sure that I'm hitting my string at a perfect 90-degree angle with my pick, you know, just to get more volume, more tone out of the guitar. So that's a big thing. And a lot of times I'll just, when I was really working on this, I would just sit and watch my right hand from this angle and make sure that everything was going exactly the way I wanted to. So that's a big thing when I'm telling people to, you know, what to practice. That's a biggie for me. And when I pick up a guitar every day, one of the first things that I'll do is. And, you know, you can do it for, I used to do that for 5 or 10 minutes, you know, just to get sort of my hand going and just to make sure there's no discomfort in my right arm, that I'm not pushing too hard, or, you know, that I'm relaxed and all that good stuff. Yeah, let's see. I'm seeing a comment. Yeah, I think it's going to be recorded. I don't know. This is my first YouTube live, so, you know, I hope it'll be recorded. I think it will. I'm going to put it up like it is. Let's see. Somebody was wanting to hear Sundown. I can't remember what key I did that in. I'll just do a couple songs and talk a little bit more. If anybody's got any questions, let me know. Let's see. Oh, Jerry Lewis. Yeah, I'll sing a Jerry Lewis song too. Get a capo. Have to excuse my voice. It's dry out here. That's what I'll blame it on. I can see her lying back in her satin dress, in a room where you do what you don't confess. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. A sailor's dream. She don't always say what she really means. Sometimes I think it's a shame, but I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. I can tell picture every move that a man could make. Getting lost in her loving is your first mistake. Sundown, you better take care. If I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care. If I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. I can see her looking fast in her faded jeans. She's a hard-loving woman, got me feeling mean. Sometimes I think it's a sin, and I get feeling better when I feel it again. Sometimes I think it's a shame, but I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Sundown, you better take care. If I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. Sundown, you better take care. If I find you've been creeping round my back stairs. All right, I think I missed a bunch of comments there. I don't know how to get to them. Here we go. Blue Railroad Train. So James Earl's asking, do I keep up with the downstrokes and the upstrokes or just let them flow? At this point, I just let them flow, but it is something that I have spent a lot of time working on. So that cross-picking thing I was talking about earlier, where I do downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, continuously all in a row. Downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, upstroke. So it's all down, up, down, down, up, down. So yeah, that was what I practiced a lot, and just working on that over and over and over again kind of trained my right hand to do that, and so I don't really have to think about it as much anymore. But it is something that, it just takes the time to think about it, because that opens up a lot of doors. If your right hand's doing the right thing, then that's the most important thing. Everybody wants to work on left hand speed, and that's an important part of it, but if the right hand's not doing the right thing, this is your tone, this is the right notes, this is everything, so it's just working on your right hand stuff is an important thing. My preference of nickel strings, somebody was very mad at me because I messed up last week, and I misspoke and said that medium gauge strings are 13, 17, 26, 36, 46, and 56, and they are not. They are 13, 17, 26, 35, 45, 56. So I missed it by 0.001 millimeter. And so I hope that I will be forgiven for that. But I do love these nickel bronze. However, on this guitar right now, I have, I don't know what I got on them. They're Diodaria. They come in a white box. I think they're XPs maybe. They sent me a set to try out, and I like them a lot. I don't know that I like them more than the nickel bronze. I like these because the nickel bronze, when you put them on, they sound like they're already kind of worn in. They're not really worn in, but they don't sound as bright as new phosphor bronze or bronze strings. That's the one thing I hate, is that first 5 minutes with phosphor bronze or bronze strings, because they're so bright. And these don't have that, and they last longer for me. I have, I guess, very acidic finger. I don't know what it is, but I kill strings really quick, and I don't kill these, so I'm really happy about that. But I like those a lot. Yeah, XS, that's probably what that is. This is my D41. Somebody's asking about the guitar. With a drill-worthy guitar collection, how do you decide which guitar to take on a gig? It's tough. This one's been kind of my main one that I've been playing for a long time. I got this one to play on a Taj Mahal gig because it's got all the inlay on it, and I ended up loving it, and so I played it on just about every gig since then. Recently I had to have a little work done on it. It had a little buzz going on because I played it for 100 shows last year, and so yeah, that that'll do it. And so I had to just get a little tune up on it, and I've been playing this Gibson Elvis Dove quite a bit, and I like it, but Martin, I love these Martin guitars, but yeah, this one's kind of been my main one for a while, and it travels really well. That's another important thing when you're traveling with guitars, with acoustic guitars. How do they travel? I've got an old 54 D28 that I played on the last one of these, and it does not travel well at all. I come out here and the strings are just right against the fretboard. If I go anywhere else, the action's really high. It kind of fluctuates a lot. This one seems very solid, and so no matter where I go, it kind of stays. It'll drift a little bit. Like right now, it's a little more buzzy than usual because I'm out west and it's dry. But once it gets a little humidity in it, it'll be better. How do you play mediums without straightening your hand, left hand to the bloody pulp? I think it's just years of doing it. The only thing that really did hurt when I was trying to work on it was bending. I've done it so much now that it doesn't hurt anymore. But that was just something, and I've worked out ways, like I talked about in the last video, like bending with two fingers, But yeah, just practicing. It all comes down to practicing with something. And just because I use 13s, that doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. Personally, I like the tone that I get with 13s. But if you like the tone you're getting with 12s, that's great, It's user preference, It is an LR Baggs Anthem SL. I love that pickup a lot. A lot of people ask me why I don't use the full Anthem. And it's a pretty simple answer. I have a bad habit on stage of rolling this volume knob in here. And so the full Anthem has two knobs. It has a volume and a blend. And so I have a couple guitars that have the full Anthem. And I'll mess my tone up within the first song. So it's a me thing. But I love the LR Baggs Anthem SL. It sounds really great. Let's see, I'll answer a few more questions. Somebody wanted to hear Sundown from Gordon Lightfoot. I just played it a few minutes ago. So when I upload this, it'll be on there. Hopefully, hoping this uploads. But somebody asked if it's important to practice scales. I don't know any scales. I'm not saying that it's not important to some people. It was never important to me. I learned tunes, and that seemed to help me a lot. I play by ear. The only scale that I kind of know is the, and I learned that in third grade, so I know that. Other than that, I'm kind of lost when it comes to scales. And a lot of times when I'm trying to explain, what I'm doing, I find out that it's a little bit of a hindrance just because it's hard for me to convey, in not scientific, but in legitimate musical terms, what I'm doing, versus just in a tonal approach or a sound approach, because that's my big thing is that I play by ear. And so I just try to play what sounds right, and I don't know if it's actually right or not. So I apologize. But no, I don't. I don't know scales. But if you like scales and it helps you learn, then by all means work on it. I just like to tell people to get excited about something and practice that. Um, that really helps me a lot. It's hard to work on something when you're not excited about it. Do I work up breaks or just play? I used to work up breaks when I was learning from, when I would listen to Tony Rice records and try to learn his breaks. Um, Now I definitely do not work up breaks for like mine and Rob's songs. Um, if I play something similar, it's purely coincidence. As a matter of fact, I try to not play the same thing consciously. That's if a lot of people ask, "What are you thinking about when you're taking a solo?" I try to think about taking different approaches every time I play a song. Maybe starting at a different place on the fretboard. Um, I try to keep myself on my toes. There's a lot of times that I've made mistakes on stage live, a lot of times, and I've learned a lot from those mistakes. And so I feel like I've learned so much from those that I don't necessarily mind making a mistake on stage. I don't like to, but I don't mind it because I would rather have the freedom of improvising over the monotony of playing the same solo every night. Because that's the fun part of music. I feel like bluegrass and jazz share that in where you improvise a lot. Tony Rice improvised. Larry Sparks improvises. All these guitar players, all these banjo players, they improvise. So that's what I like to do. And but if you like to work on breaks and just to get in a comfort zone, that there's nothing wrong with that too. Again, this is just all my approach. Let's see. How many guitars do I take on the road? Just one usually. If I'm driving, I'll take two, but I usually just take one. Do I often sit around and make up new licks? Not really. I think I find stuff a lot. Just kind of by osmosis, just because I play a lot. I've always got a guitar sitting around. And so a lot of times I'll just kind of be playing while, the TV's on or while something's going on. And sometimes I'll stumble on something and I get excited about that. So it's, I think I'm always chasing that. But yeah, I don't really sit around and come up with stuff that often. Any comment on Tommy Emmanuel's timing and playing with him? Tommy's the best. Tommy's the best. I think there's a music is not a competition, but Tommy's the best. He can do everything. He does all the styles better than anybody else, and his timing's impeccable. And playing with Tommy Emmanuel, I feel like even if you just go to a Tommy Emmanuel show or you're just around Tommy Emmanuel, you are becoming a better guitar player just from being in the same room as him. And so playing with him, I definitely feel that. It's like he keeps you on your toes, and again, his timing is just incredible. And so, yeah, he's one of my favorite people and my favorite guitar player. So, yeah, I love Tommy. Let's see. I'll play. How about I play one more song? And Somebody wanted a Jerry Lee Lewis song, so I'll do that. One by one, they're turning out the lights. I've been feeding that old jukebox just to hold you tight. I guess it's for the best. I just put in my last dime. I heard you whisper we'd meet again, another place, another time. The chairs are stacked all on the tables, and it's closing time, they say. I could wait right here forever if they'd only let me stay. Anywhere would be much better than that old lonely room of mine, and a sleepless night waiting for another place, another time. Won't that room of mine be a lonely place to be after I've been holding you so close to me? Won't that old stairway be a little hard to climb, to a lonely room to wait for another place, another time? Won't that old stairway be a little hard to climb, to a lonely room to wait for another place, another time? One other tip about traveling is drink a lot of water when you're on the road. All right, well, I'm gonna answer one more question here, and then I will sign off for tonight. But let's see. Was learning to sing a natural process for you? Is that something you intentionally practiced over the years? Yes and no. I never worked on it. I don't have any formal training, as you can tell from that last song. I don't have any training at all. And I just grew up singing, and it's same with my guitar playing. I feel like I grew up trying to imitate people that I liked. Same for, trying to work on Tony licks. Try to get Tony's tone down and try to get the little nuances of his playing, the same way that I did that. I would try to get the little nuances of, country singers singing, Hank Williams or Merle Haggard or George Jones. And, it was never anything that I really practiced. And to be honest, I don't enjoy singing near as much as I do playing. When I started playing guitar, I sings. Even though I'm just trying to do both of them, but it is something that I've practiced, and like playing, it takes a while for you to find your own voice, and to not imitate. You want to work on imitating your favorite players or singing like your favorite singers, and then once you get kind of close, you want to just forget all that, and work on your own thing. And I feel like when I started playing, there was a guitar player that I really respected that took me aside one day. He recognized that I was just trying to learn Tony licks, and he said, there's already one Tony, and he does it better than anybody else is ever going to do it. And he looked up to Clarence White, and he wanted to be like Clarence White, but he found his own path, and so I've really, ever since then, for my singing and playing, I try to find my own path with it. And I think, listening to a lot of different music helps a lot, being influenced by different things. But yeah, all that all that to say, practicing is just so important, and practicing with intent. Like I said last week, I try to have a list of things that I want to work on, and I still do it. I have a master list, and I try to go through it, once a week and figure out what I want to work on this week, and I try to practice with intent and not just sit around and play stuff I already know, or just not sit around and sing songs I already sing or have already sung. I try to work on stuff that's new, and so yeah, it's important to push yourself and get out of your comfort zone every now and then. But thank you all so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate this. And I will see you for volume 3. All right. See you guys.